and reaches every corner of 36 states from 388-7277. Free TV, digital TV for free. Brought to you by NBC.
Health is more than a diagnosis. It's your lifestyle, your choices, and your future. Join us on Inside Health, your weekly deep dive into the stories, science, and solutions shaping your well-being. From expert interviews to real-life journeys of healing and hope, we cover it all.
One of the complications of cancer management or treatment is they have some of them, at one point in time, you see them having anemia. Okay, so you see them at times being transfused. But at the same time, you come in with a diet.
Nutrition, mental health, innovations in medicine, fitness, and everyday wellness. Whether you're managing a condition, staying informed, or just living your best life, Inside Health is your trusted guide.
I'm Tigiti Agorom, and I'll be with you every week on Inside Health, only on Signature TV.
Signature TV, news in your pocket. Signature TV, news in your pocket.
New every morning on Signature TV, we open the day for you with needed energy, information, and required vibes to shape your day. From sizzling snippets of stories in various areas of life to intriguing conversations with net worth guests.
When you have people who have no track record becoming your leaders, you have a problem.
There's no outstanding gratuity when Obi took over from me. I left in all the accounts of Anambra State 13.8 billion for him.
Your day cannot be complete without Signature Morning on weekdays and Signature New Day on weekends. There is no better way to start your day except Signature Morning and Signature New Day every day on Signature TV.
Welcome to Global News on Signature TV. I am Barry Kumo Ado. In the headlines, Catholic bishops express concern about Muslim ticket ahead of 2027. Senior lawyer Madu Bochi tells Justice Lifo to resign over appeal court judgment. US and Saudi forces strike Iran-backed groups in Iraq. And US bans new Chinese robots power inverters to shield AI supply chain. Details in a moment.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking. Events occur and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria has told President Bola Tinubu that many Christians remain concerned about their place in the country following the departure from the Christian-Muslim presidential arrangement. The position is contained in an address presented by the President of the Bishops' Conference, Archbishop Matthew Ndagoso, during a courtesy visit to President Tinubu at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. According to the bishops, while they appreciated a cordial relationship between Nigeria and the Holy See, many Christians still have legitimate concerns over inclusion under the current administration and urged Tinubu to take steps to soothe frayed nerves and reassured Christians of their constitutional rights. The bishops also expressed concern over what they described as shrinking political space and fears that Nigeria could drift towards a one-party state, and urged him to ensure that elected officials of the ruling party uphold fairness and guarantee a level playing field for all political actors. The conference warned that the country risks serious consequences if the 2027 general elections are not transparent and credible, pointing to what they referred to as growing public disenchantment with the electoral process, with many Nigerians believing that their votes no longer count. This morning, President Tinubu said that his political opponents were crying wolf about alleged favoritism ahead of the 2027 elections, are afraid of their own shadows and uncertainty in the companies they keep. Said the Independent National Electoral Commission is neutral, noting that all political parties have equal opportunities in the electoral process. And the country's security challenges, the president said his administration is addressing them through enhanced intelligence gathering and restructuring and repositioning of security institutions. The Amnesty International in Nigeria has called on Nigerian authorities to launch a thorough, transparent, and impartial investigation into the killing of at least 15 people in ENUGU district or Tukpo local government area of Benue State. The statement issued on its verified Facebook page, Amnesty noted that the latest attack occurred on the 28th of July 2026 in Efeyi, Igboju, where armed groups allegedly killed at least 14 residents, a day after another resident was reportedly killed in nearby Ipom, Igboju, bringing the total number of deaths from the two incidents to at least 15. Amnesty International said the attacks underscore what it described as an unrelenting campaign of violence against communities in the southern part of Benue State, and expressed concern that communities in Otukpo and across Benue State continue to face repeated attacks by armed groups with little protection. According to the organization, the persistent failure of the Nigerian government to proactively prevent the attacks or hold perpetrators accountable has created a dangerous cycle of violence, leaving residents under constant threat to death, displacement, and destruction of their livelihoods. The national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Etanwe Yilwada, has dismissed suggestions by former Anambra State Governor Peter Obi that President Bola Tinubu is tired and should step aside ahead of the 2027 elections. Yilwada, who appeared on a live television program, questioned the basis for describing the president as exhausted, insisting that Tinubu continues to work tirelessly while delivering key projects across the country. The APC chairman pointed to ongoing infrastructure projects, including the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway and the development of new seaports in Calabar, Akwa Ibom, Port Harcourt, Ondo, and Lagos, as evidence of administration's commitment to national development. He further referenced the ongoing modernization of Nigeria's aviation sector, saying the extensive airport upgrade projects supervised by the Ministry of Aviation reflect a government actively investing in critical infrastructure. According to Yilwada, the administration's investments in education, transportation, maritime infrastructure, and aviation demonstrate that President Tinubu remains fully engaged in governing the country, contrary to claims that he is too tired to continue in office. His comments followed remarks by Peter Obi, stated that President Bola Tinubu is tired and lacks the capacity to lead Nigeria, calling on him to step aside and retire ahead of the 2027 general elections. A senior advocate of Nigeria, Obamadu Bachi, Madubuachi has asked Justice Peter Lifu of the Federal High Court to resign, saying he should be ashamed of still entering the court to deliver rulings. Reacting to the Court of Appeal ruling on Tuesday that vacated the judgment of Lifu that directed the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to deregister the African Democratic Congress (ADC), the four other political parties. Madubuachi noted that the judiciary has left its job as now involved in partisan politics. The judiciary said should be above board like Caesar's wife, noting that some of them who have spent nearly half a century in the temple of justice should be able to leave some legacies to junior and upcoming lawyers. Stated that there are things that should not be said about certain classes of people, like judges, since they pass judgment on other people. A panel of the Court of Appeal in Abuja avoided and set aside the judgment of Justice Lifu and berated him for disobeying an order it had made on May 22, directing him to stay proceedings in the case pending the outcome of an appeal by the parties. The House of Representatives has passed a bill to alter the 1999 Constitution to provide for the establishment of state police services. The bill was approved by the Committee of the Whole after the House adopted the report of a committee on constitutional review. Chairman of the committee, Benjamin Kalu, said the amendment is aimed at improving community policing, strengthening intelligence gathering, and responding to the country's security challenges.
This constitutional amendment provides only the enabling framework, Mr. Speaker. The detailed implementation legislation that will follow will provide ample opportunity to address critical issues relating to administration, recruitment, training, vetting, certification, standardization, operational standards, in funding, accountability, oversight, intergovernmental coordination, and other implementation mechanisms.
Speaker Tajuddin Abbas said a proposal secured the participation of 211 APC lawmakers, 65 members from other political parties, and 35 members who joined virtually before it was approved by voice vote.
The House and Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Constitutional Review on a bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended to provide for the establishment of state police services and for related matters, and in so doing approved clauses 1 to 26, the explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill.
Congress, however, rejected the procedure for the passage, arguing that the current bill contains constitutional, legal, and operational gaps that should be addressed before final passage.
We want to also add that the Minority Caucus is not against the creation of state police. We are not against the creation of state police. Whatever that is going to remedy the insecurity in this country, as a Minority Caucus, we are ready to support it. But any action taken by the Parliament must follow due process. We are talking about an institution, the institution of the National Assembly, the institution and the House as a House of Representatives.
So for Mr. Speaker, acting as chairman in a committee of the whole, to disregard the clear provisions of Section 9(2) of the 1999 Constitution as amended is a great affront on the workings of the House of Representatives.
Budget Office of the Federation says no public funds were spent on the Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Council, as the agency never secured the legal approvals required for the release of money. Director General of the Budget Office, Taminu Yakubu, told the House of Representatives had a committee investigating the PFIPC that although the council was captured in the 2026 budget, it did not obtain financial clearance or enroll workers on a payroll for payment of salaries. Yakubu said the agency entered the budget after presenting an administrative code from the Office of Accountant General establishment approval and recruitment waiver from the Office of the Head of Civil Service, as well as a salary structure from the National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission. He added that the Budget Office reduced the proposed personnel cost from 3.8 billion naira to 208 billion naira, but that no funds were released, stating that appropriation does not amount to expenditure.
The Budget Office did not issue financial clearance for the Council because the conditions were incomplete. The 2026 appropriation bill did not become law until presidential assent on 31st March 2026. Before that date, the Budget Office could cost the proposal. It could not grant final financial clearance against a bill that had not yet become law. After assent, a further condition remained outstanding. The National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission had not confirmed that the proposed staffing and remuneration arrangements complied with its prescribed template and the approved public service compensation framework.
My first question, how the agency made it into the budget, with committee members expressing concern that government institutions relied on forged documents without verifying their authenticity.
Either the Budget Office or the Ministry of Finance had made an effort to clarify, in line with the excellent provisions of Authentication Act, to clarify from the National Assembly as to the authenticity of this document, which is called the Act creating this new agency.
Just want to find out, is it the practice that agencies on their own could write to the Budget Office of the Federation requesting specific inputs in the budget, especially as it has to do with their personnel costs?
Committee Yusuf Gandhi said that the panel will investigate how forged documents passed through the system and how the budget was approved, and invited the Office of the Accountant General to explain how the agency obtained a budget code.
How and why did the Budget Office acted and create a budget for this agency? Why did the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation create a budget court? A budget court has been created. Head of Service establishes this. All agencies that appear here established. The act was forged. All the requirement that Budget Office require in their submission here, we can give it to the press. The agency have satisfied it, the fake agency have satisfied it. But the documents were not legitimate, were not genuine.
The committee has given the Inspector General of Police, Tunji Disu, 48 hours to produce the self-acclaimed Director General of the organization, Adeyemi Adeniyi. The directive came after the Accountant General of the Federation, Samsildeen Ogunjimi, told the committee that a forged State House letter was used to secure official recognition for the agency. Assistant Commissioner of Police Bashir Abdullahi, who represented the Inspector General of Police, told the lawmakers that a force that investigated petitions alleging that Adeyemi Adeniyi falsely presented himself as Director General of both the Presidential Economic Advisory Council and the Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Council. He said an 8-count charge had already been filed against Adeniyi before the Federal High Court and that the matter was pending.
I can assure you that. And we have also continued with areas that were not addressed before this time. And also other security agencies are also undergoing, carrying out investigations with respect to this matter. So I think, Mr. Chairman, I will seek your permission to keep the matters as they are, because we don't want to say things that are under investigation. It is definitely going to prejudice the ongoing investigation, and make people to have opinions that might not necessarily be the outcome of that may have.
General of Federation Samsudeen Ogunjimi had earlier told the lawmakers that his office created an administrative code for the council after receiving what appeared to be an authentic letter from the presidency, which later turned out to be forged.
The first interface that this fake agency had with OAGF was in November 2024. And so the leadership then, what the fake agency did was to submit a fake act, so we can call it fake now because we have seen it to be fake. Fake act purportedly enacted by the National Assembly, fake letter of appointment, everything that was submitted to the leadership in Treasury was fake.
He said it had so far uncovered 29 forged documents linked to the activities of the unestablished agency, and at the next stage of its investigation will focus on hearing directly from Adeyemi Adeniyi. Still to come, SpaceX shares extend slide, wiping out over $1.2 trillion in market value. Ghana's tallest man dies at 33. PM says rescue in race against time after earthquake. Stay with us.
The Ministry of Defense, Federal Republic of Nigeria, in collaboration with the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Community Engagement Southeast, invites the general public to the Southeast Regional Security Summit 2026, scheduled to hold on Thursday, 30th of July 2026. Venue, International Conference Center, Umuahia, Abia State. Time, 10 a.m. prompt. Theme, collaborative approaches to strengthening security and regional stability. Special guest of honor, Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio. Keynote speaker, Lieutenant General Azubike Ihejerika retired, former Chief of Army Staff. Host Governor Alex Otte, Executive Governor of Abia State, proudly supported by other governors of Nigeria's southeastern states. Convener, General Christopher Gwame Musa retired OFR, Honorable Minister of Defense, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Announcer, Planning Committee.
United States and Saudi Arabian forces say they struck Iran-backed militants in Iraq on Wednesday, in retaliation for recent attacks from a short pause in Iran war hostilities. Combined air operation came as President Donald Trump met with his Israeli counterpart Benjamin Netanyahu in Washington for the first in-person talks since the Middle East war began in late February. Crude oil prices leapt more than 4% as a fresh Middle East flare-up revived fears over global supplies usually shipped through the pivotal Straits of Hormuz. The U.S. military said retaliatory strikes by U.S. and Saudi fighter planes hit logistics and weapons sites in eastern Iraq belonging to Iran-aligned terrorists. Saudi Arabia's defense ministry said the terrorist militias loyal to Iran were linked to attacks on the kingdom's oil facilities. A days-long pause on hostilities ended late Tuesday when U.S. forces reportedly intercepted missiles launched by Iran at American bases in the Gulf. The Trump administration has banned imports of new Chinese humanoid and quadruped robots, as well as connected power inverters, in a move aimed at protecting the U.S. artificial intelligence supply chain and strengthening domestic manufacturing. The restrictions announced by the Federal Communications Commission took effect immediately upon publication and apply to robots and inverter models that have not yet been released. The measures are designed to reduce what U.S. officials describe as risk of supply chain disruption, cyber attacks, and data theft linked to Chinese technology, and support the administration's broader push to shift production of strategic technologies back to the U.S. The Chinese embassy in Washington criticized the decision and urged the United States to heed the objective and rational voices of the business community in both countries and stop smearing Chinese companies and threatening them with sanctions. The embassy added that China will take all necessary measures in response to any action that causes material harm to its interests. U.S. officials have expressed concern that Chinese-made robots could collect sensitive information or interfere with critical infrastructure. Japan's Prime Minister Sanae Takaishi says rescue teams are in a race against time after an earthquake killed at least 13 people in the country's Kumamoto prefecture in the southwest on Tuesday. Takaichi said that rescuers are searching the rubble of the Aeon Mall in Kashima Town and a Nippon paper factory in Yatsushiro, and that there are still people in need of help. Mall operators said that 4 people from the Aeon Mall in Kashima Town are still missing following the earthquake. They added that the status of approximately 2,700 employees was verified after the explosion, and that the company will continue to work with authorities to rescue the missing individuals. Honda said it will suspend operations at its Kumamoto motorcycle factory until Friday. The factory is Honda's main production facility for motorcycles in Japan and has been producing the company's supercar bikes since 1991. Other major plants in the western Kumamoto area have also paused operations, including the factories of electronics companies Sony and semiconductor manufacturer TSMC. Shares of SpaceX tumbled on Tuesday, extending a steep sell-off as it raised more than 1/5 of the company's market value since the record-setting debut of Elon Musk's rocket, satellite, and artificial intelligence company. The stock fell 5% to 107.80 in early trading in New York at 9:36 a.m., dipping losses from the all-time high to reach just days after its market debut last month. The latest decline comes as investors continue to pull back from riskier technology stocks, triggering a broad reassessment of high-growth companies that had previously enjoyed strong market momentum. Since peaking on June 16, SpaceX had lost more than $1.2 trillion in market capitalization, marking one of the largest value wipeouts in stock market history. Company shares have now fallen more than 20% from their post-listing high, reflecting weakening investor appetite for speculative technology investment amid broader market uncertainty. Sports now. In a stunning result at the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco, defending champions Nigeria suffered a shock 3-2 defeat to tournament debutants Malawi in their Group C opener. Super Falcons, who came into the competition as favourites, were unable to contain a determined Malawi side that delivered one of the biggest upsets in African history. Malawi started brightly, taking the game to Nigeria with quick attacking football and clinical finishing in the encounter, which took place at the Al Medina Stadium in Rabat, Morocco. Despite Nigeria fighting back with 2 goals to keep the contest alive, Malawians remained composed and found a decisive goal to secure a memorable 3-2 victory. Final whistle sparked wild celebrations for the Malawi players and supporters as they claimed a famous first ever WAFCON win over the defending champions. The result puts Nigeria under early pressure in Group C, with the Super Falcons needing a positive response in the next fixture with Zambia on Saturday to keep their hopes of progressing alive. Zinedine Zidane has been appointed as head coach of French men's national team. French Football Federation announced Zidane's appointment on Tuesday. Zidane is expected to lead France through the 2030 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. 54-year-old replaces Didier Deschamps, the longest-serving French head coach, who managed the team for 14 years, won a World Cup in 2018 and led France to two World Cup finals. Zidane, who won a record-setting 3 consecutive UEFA Champions League titles with Real Madrid, has been out of work since 2021 before his latest appointment. Speaking on his new job, the Real Madrid and Juventus legend stated his joy and pride at his appointment to the greatest job in football. He also appreciated his predecessor acknowledged the responsibility handed to him and his ambition for the team. In his remarks, FFF President Diallo stated that Zidane's appointment is a source of national pride, saying that his profile matches the potential of the national team. Ghana's tallest man Sulemana Abdul Samed, popularly known as Awushe, has died at the age of 33. His demise has prompted an outpour of grief, particularly in northern Ghana, where his extraordinary heights made him a local celebrity. Awushe died on Monday at a Tamale Teaching Hospital after being admitted with infected sores on his legs. Relatives Sulemana Abdul Kudus described the late giant as a generous, well-loved figure. Diagnosed with giantism in his 20s, Awushe measured 7 feet 4 inches in late 2022. Though he believed he may have grown even taller before his death. Known by the Hausa nickname Awushe, meaning let's go, he lived for years with complications arising from Marfan syndrome, a genetic disorder affecting the body's connective tissues and responsible for his unusually long limbs. 4 women have accused Oscar-winning actor and 30 Seconds to Mars frontman Jared Leto of criminal sexual misconduct, with the alleged offences having taken place when they were teenagers. One of the women says she was sexually assaulted in a hotel bathroom when she was 17. Another says the Hollywood star threatened her with sexual assault when she was 19 and had been unexpectedly left alone with him in her hotel room. The third describes how she had underage sex with a star in California when she was 17, which would be classified as statutory rape. But a fourth woman described being groomed by Leto, saying he abused his celebrity status by making repeated sexually explicit phone calls to her when she was 16. In total, 10 women have spoken in the documentary, with 9 of them saying their stories publicly for the first time. All the women say they encountered Leto between 2002 and 2016, when Leto, who is now 54, was in his 30s and 40s. 2 men who worked with Leto's band for many years also told the documentary how uncomfortable staff felt about the way Leto would interact with teenage girls, sometimes inviting them backstage to his dressing room or inviting them to the house where he was recording. Leto has been a prominent actor since the 1990s and won the 2014 Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for Dallas Buyers Club, and has appeared in hit films such as Fight Club, Blade Runner 2049, Suicide Squad, and most recently featured in Masters of the Universe. That's it on the news. I am Barry Kumo Ado. Thank you very much for watching.
Get plugged into the heartbeat of entertainment on The Hub, your ultimate show on eVibes. From trending stories and social media drama to top charting music, must-watch movies and exciting moments from the world of arts, we've got it all. Join us for unmissable conversations with your favorite entertainment personalities, plus fun segments every week.
So I should try harder, so...
Okay, I don't know that one.
Outfit of the day.
Oh, I don't do that. That's some Gen Z stuff.
Oh, now you say it's a Gen Z stuff.
It's everything you love about entertainment, served fresh every week at 1 p.m. with weekend repeats just in case you missed it. The Hub's on eVibes, where the vibes never stop. Only